Hey, moneymakers, I'm Kalila Reynolds, and welcome to another episode of Taking Stock Live. Last week we were not live, we were celebrating independence, and now that the festivities have wound down, yeah, we are back to regularly scheduled programming. All the what an Olympics it was, all the Olympic drama, is behind us now, and we are into the second half of the year, and school soon start. Imagine that, September morning right around the corner. Hope you guys are planning for it. Well, tonight we are talking about the Amber Group. They have been making waves in the local business scene for quite some time now, but really in this past year, we've been hearing a lot more about Amber. Their most recent deal is the 50% acquisition of On Time Taxi. And so later on, we're going to be learning a lot more about that deal, as well as everything else that's been going on with Amber. But before that, I want you guys to let me know, where are you joining us from? What part of Jamaica? What part of the world? Let us know in the chat. Up next, we've got your market recap. Not market recap. Up next, we are telling you what's hot in business and a look at what's coming up in tonight's show. Now, come on, let's get this money.
On this episode of Taking Stock, public transportation just got a whole lot smarter. Amber Group's latest venture, a 50% stake in On Time Taxi, promises to revolutionize the riding experience. What changes are in store for passengers? And what's Amber's next big move? Founder and CEO of Amber Group, Dushyant Savadia, joins us live to discuss. And the analysts weigh in on the latest market developments. The whispers of a US recession are growing louder, and the market is feeling the chills. Will this growing fear impact our local economy? Plus, what's behind Japan's stock volatility? We'll discuss.
Here's what's hot, brought to you by JMMB Group, your best interest at heart.
Regency Petroleum is assuring investors that its decision to close on Sundays will not negatively affect the company's bottom line. RPL CEO Andrew Williams said the company made a faith-based decision to close their service stations island-wide on Sunday. He also noted that the closure will give employees a much-needed break. Williams said RPL's Q1 performance signals that even with Sunday closures, the company remains profitable. RPL's gross profit climbed to $68 million in the first quarter, an increase of 111%. NCB says fraud cases have dropped 70% over the past 9 months. The bank said enhanced security protocols like dual-factor authentication and lower transfer limits are the main contributing factors. According to a report from the Bank of Jamaica, banks lost an average of $900 million a year between January 2018 and November 2022. NCB CEO Bruce Bowen said credit and debit card users will soon be required to enter a one-time passcode for all online purchases as an additional level of security. Temu founder Colin Wang is now the richest man in China. According to Bloomberg's Billionaires Index, the 44-year-old Wang has a net worth of $48.6 billion. He surpassed bottled water tycoon Zhong Shanshan, the founder of the beverage company Nongji Fu Spring. Temu, an online shopping platform, made over $15 billion in sales in 2023.
Top 5 places to meet rich men in Jamaica. Number 5, we're coming in at AC Hotel Lounge / Bar. If you go here, you'll meet a lot of nice professional men who have jobs within the corporate area, whether in business, finance, or governance.
So this was a pretty accurate video. He gave some good places, but he actually missed one. Shh. You want to know where? It's the Money Mission community. That's where all the money people go to talk about money and figure out ways to make even more money. Welcome back. So let me see who's joining us so far and where you guys are from. Check the chat. David says St. James in the house. Antoinette is in Black River, and she says it's just as hot as Arizona. Ooh, welcome to Jamrock, hot Jamrock, Antoinette. Welcome home. Dwight is in Spanish Town. Humble Boss is in the grill. Troyan is in Capture Land checking in. We got Humble Boss says, let's get this money. Lanestra checking in from Waterford. Life Roots is in Montego Bay. Ingrid is in Bull Bay. Nana Sense is far away. Robert is in New Jersey. Who am I? Says, long time I've been over here. Roswell shouting out from Unity Hall in St. James. And let me see who's joining us from Instagram as well. We have Sir Louis Farm in St. Elizabeth. We have Richard Fowlin in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. That sounds like Amish country. Jevy Boss in New Jersey and Eastreim Construction over in Portmore. And now let me tell you who we have with us online, who is our very special guest this evening. His name is Dushyant Savadia. You may have seen this name. You may have seen this face. You may have seen pictures of him climbing Mount Everest, quite literally, over the Christmas holidays. He is an entrepreneur who, I want to say a Jamaican entrepreneur. He is. He's a naturalized Jamaican citizen, originally from India, but he's going to tell us more about his story tonight here on Taking Stock. Welcome, Dushyant.
Very good evening, Kalila, and good to be back. And thank you for inviting. It's an honor to have
Love having you. I can't believe it's the first time you've been on the show,
us.
given all that you've done in business in this country and for this country so far.
Yeah,
Tell us, tell us a little bit about how you got started in business. And first of all, what brought you to Jamaica?
good question. I came to Jamaica in 2012. I came under the Art of Living Foundation, which is one of the world's largest non-profit organization. I taught a lot of stress management workshops across inner cities for youths, and I did thousands of inmates. I taught a lot of stress management rehabilitation workshops in the prisons. And early 2015, Kalila, I ran out of funding for the Art of Living Foundation's need to continue the charitable work that I was very busy here with. And that's when I decided, charity cannot happen from an empty bowl. To do good in the society, you need wealth. And that's when I decided to build businesses with the sole purpose to do good for the society.
So we came to Jamaica around similar times, and your entrepreneurship bug bit after you ran out of funding for your charitable work. What was the first business that you started?
Early 2015 was funny. I was sharing it with someone this morning. You won't believe this. Even before I started my first business, I actually registered Amber Taxi as a trademark uh, in Jamaica. So it's been something on my radar for a long time. We'll talk about it later. But the first business we started late 2015 is when Amber Group or Amber Connect was the first company in vehicle tracking and fleet management solutions. We built one of the world's most powerful AI software to manage individual vehicles or fleets both. That is what gave us a roaring success all over the world, operating in tens and hundreds countries all over the world. And yeah, and since then, one after another, we just kept looking at what else adds to our ecosystem and built more businesses on top.
So did you have a background in tech?
No, I actually don't have a software development background, but certainly in my past life, I've worked for Xerox, I've worked for Best Buy Europe. So I've been in the tech space in my early days before I became a full time volunteer for the Art of Living Foundation, and during that time too. And then eventually, of course, what I always had a passion for is to find pain points for consumers, identify the right tech solutions, and turn that into a pleasant experience.
Because I think one of the things that we know Amber is named for is you guys develop a lot of apps, like all the big apps you see powered by Amber on there. Tell us some of the ones that you worked on.
We've been working on so many apps from around the world, whether it is in the banking space, fintech space, whether it is utility companies or security companies, transportation. We've built more than 400, 500 enterprise applications in the last 7 years across the whole world. I'm just passionate about solving problems through tech.
So you don't want to name drop for us?
Oh, I mean, most of you know that. For example, JPS is now considered one of the most amazing apps in Jamaica. Palace Amusement, Trans Jamaica Highway, Amber Connect's own apps, Amber Pay. There's so many beautiful applications that you can interact with, and they work extremely well.
And then was it last year or the year before that you bought, well, you gained a stake in Nationwide News Network?
Yes, it was last year, early last year. That's correct.
What led to that partnership?
It's always about, from Amber Group's perspective, wherever we found deficit or lack of innovation or lack of, possible opportunities that one could have done in the tech space with those specific business lines we ventured into those business. We always look at what businesses can we digitalize even more, create a lot better consumer experience, create more engagement for the consumers, and we're known to build phenomenal tech, and we just leverage what our strengths are to give the consumers of Jamaica a lot better experience than what they're used to.
Is it 20%?
I can't disclose the
Oh,
shareholding, also because remember, a lot of it is bound by confidentiality agreements that we've signed on both sides. So
okay, no problem. Understood. But I want to set the stage though, because we know you for doing all these amazing things here in Jamaica, but let's just make it clear. Amber is a global company. So tell me about your operations outside Jamaica. How big are you actually?
So that is correct. We have our own office building in Jamaica. We've got our own offices in Jamaica, which is our global headquarters. It is a Jamaican born, Jamaican operated company. We currently have offices in Miami. We've got a very large office in South Africa, very large office in Dubai, very large office in India. We operate 13 business lines, employing hundreds of people all over the world. And more importantly, we are almost at in 100 countries that we currently operate.
Wow. How did you scale so fast? Because that's less than 10 years in business to becoming a global conglomerate.
Yes, I think, Kalila, I've always believed that when your heart is in the right place and you're very passionate about doing good for the world, you're passionate about, just getting out there and do what is best in the interest of the larger society. Universe assists you to get to your goals faster. And I think what we've done over the last 10 years is just kept looking at incredible tech solutions. If you look at Amber Connect by itself, it is by far the most incredibly designed vehicle tracking application for consumers and fleets both. The number of features we innovated, the number of users that we have now globally, it's all about building the right tech, fitting into the right markets. And most of the countries, for example, when I went to South Africa the first time in 2016, everybody said to me, Kalila, this is a bad idea, because South Africa is already a very saturated market for vehicle tracking. You're too late in that game there. But I knew what my difference was. Then the rest of the players in that market is we differentiated ourselves with affordability, phenomenal tech, and keeping consumers on the forefront, then keeping our profit on the forefront. That is what pushed us very far across the world. And I think every time a customer or a distributor looks at our application and look at our product and the pricing, they say, this is it, this is what we want. And that's how we created a large distribution network for our businesses all over the world.
Wow, it really is an amazing story, truly so. At what point did you decide you wanted to become a Jamaican citizen?
I always wanted to be a Jamaican citizen, but of course, I came to Jamaica in 2012. I made this home, and I am very grateful to Jamaica. When I came to Jamaica in 2012, I just divorced. I was not in a very good mental, emotional state personally. And what I found is the love that I got from Jamaica, the warmth of Jamaican people, how they embraced me, made me one of their own, and I could serve Jamaica so much. I naturally, over time, am indebted to Jamaica in many ways to heal me, and I'm committed to Jamaica and what I can do for this country as long as I'm breathing.
Mikhail is reminding me that you're also an ambassador now. What's the official title?
It is Ambassador Dushyant Savadia, but I'm the ambassador for investments for technology.
Investments for technology. Well, so all of that brings me to what you launched earlier this year. I think it was in January, or what was it, late last year? The collaboration with UTech. Tell us about that on the entrepreneurship front.
I have gone through, seriously, I've gone through very rough patches as an entrepreneur. When I first started Amber Connect, nobody would trust you because you are actually a nobody. I didn't know many people here. So to build trust from the consumer, build trust from businesses is a very hard job. Second, to find funding, to find people who would trust you with some money is another. So I've gone through the roughest entrepreneurial journey. I would come to a point that I still remember January 2015, January 2nd, 2015. I had no food in my fridge. I survived on boiled potato and boiled rice. I'm a vegetarian. Boiled potato and boiled rice with salt for 1 month till I found for funding and started the whole idea and then built the
Said
whole
boiled potato and boiled rice is all you ate for 1 month.
1 month and just hoped that I could build something amazing that I could feed myself better and carry on this journey as an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, there is nothing I've not gone through in terms of cycles of effort and cycles of disappointments and failures. And I've been through the worst that you can think of as an entrepreneur. But then I
So you
realized
did not come here with any gold spoon in your mouth. You did not come with riches and wealth from India.
zero. I came as a humanitarian. I served the society for 3.5 years, doing my best to uplift consciousnesses in Jamaica by teaching them breathing exercises, meditation, and really giving them the art of living, how to deal with their negative emotions, conflict resolution, reduce anger and violence, and all of those things. And I ran out of funding, and that's when I decided to build businesses. But to go back to your question, Kalila, I've gone through the journey as an entrepreneur. I know how hard it is, and that's why we decided to fund entirely the Amber UTech Launchpad. We're very grateful to UTech to collaborate with us because they're providing us with the office spaces and the training for our entrepreneurs, business training, and we. In the meantime, would fund all the software development. The digital products that have to be built will be fully funded by us, and we will then leverage our global market to assist them to sell all over the world. So the passion and inspiration was, how do we take all our experiences as a company and make sure I could reduce that burden to many entrepreneurs who've got brilliant ideas, but they just don't have the right funding, and they don't have the right leverage to go out into the market and make an impact for Jamaica. So to me, to commit to 100 startups in the next 1,000 days is quite a commitment, but we are committed. We actually filmed the first 26 pitches last month. And season one, we're doing it like Shark Tank. So there is a whole televised show that we built. We will start telecasting it early September. The first 26 pitches, we will onboard 15 of them as the first season and then continue to season two and so on.
Okay, I was just going to ask because you did set out an ambitious target of helping 100 entrepreneurs. You got 26.
No, we got lots of application, but we could only take in 26 in the first instance, in the first season. So to speak, from the 26, we picked up 15 who will go through the first season. Remember, it's over 3 years, 100 startups. So we're starting with 15 in every season. Season one is being released September 1st or September 1st week. And then people across Jamaica will have the ability to vote, listening to the pitches themselves, which entrepreneur they prefer the most. And we're going to do a full community engagement across Jamaica to select you as a viewer, you as a Jamaican, which digital startup you want to favor that could take the leap with Amber UTech Launchpad.
Are they all digital startups?
100% digital startups. Because see, one of the reasons, if you look at Jamaica, we barely have any export of digital products out of Jamaica. We barely have anything except Amber Connect. Of course, we became one of the largest exporter of tech out from the Caribbean into the world, but we don't have many tech startups who are exporting anything much out of Jamaica. So that's why I wanted to give the Jamaican digital entrepreneurs a chance to scale globally, chance to showcase their bright minds, and build 100 digital startups to bring in USDs from abroad.
And then you're funding all 26?
Will fund all 100 over the next 3 years. Their entire cost to build out their product is sponsored by the Amber Group.
Ah, but it's an equity arrangement. So you have equity in the companies.
That is correct. Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
we would still remain a minority shareholder regardless, because one of the things I've also come to understand as an entrepreneur, if you lose more than a majority of your shares, then obviously the skin in the game, the passion, everything goes down a little bit. So we wanted to protect the entrepreneur's zeal, enthusiasm. It's your business. I'm just there to support.
I'm very excited to see this program when it airs. It's going to be on nationwide platforms.
We don't know yet. The marketing team is working on it, but we will distribute from every possible channel. We would request your channel to also broadcast it when the footage is live.
Well, let's talk for real because I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. All right, so we have some comments online before I come into the newest deal, which is On Time, taking a full circle to your original goal, having a taxi service. Who am I wants to know, is NNN going public anytime soon?
I'm not the majority shareholder, so I cannot answer that question. Cliff is the right person for that.
All right, we ask Cliff another time. NanoSense wants to know if you're into cybersecurity.
Absolutely. 3 years ago, we acquired a company out of US called Night Vision, and we converted that company and renamed that company back to Amber CyberEye. So we give top tier cybersecurity services to a lot of companies all over the world with full SOC monitoring, penetration test, but more importantly, affordable at the same time.
Who am I wants to know, what about Jamaica makes it such a springboard to make you scale so much? This brings Digicel to mind.
Absolutely. I think we all know there is something about Jamaica, right? There's nothing that you can start from here and not take it further. Remember, to me personally, Jamaica is a very strong brand by itself. As a nation, we've built such a phenomenal brand. What's very interesting, even when we are on large tech shows, when I'm speaking in very large tech shows all over the world as an invited guest, I always mention at the start, I am from Jamaica. I am a Jamaican citizen, and I think 90% of the people fall in love with the first two sentences. My business comes later. So I think as a country, we've built a phenomenal goodwill of a brand. It's a huge hit across the world. And what surprises most people, that Jamaica also has the capability now to launch huge digital or non-digital companies out of here and go global. We are not, like we say in Jamaica, we're small, but we are still Talawa.
Talawa. Little but with Talawa.
Little, but Talawa. That's the whole point. We have the ability. I think our people are creative. We have abundance of talent. We just need to give them the right springboard, like Amber got out of here, and scale them globally.
We have a couple of people just bigging up Amber and several of your products. NanoSense says, I'm a customer of Amber tracking and I love it. The tracking gave me an update on the amount of fuel my car uses, distance. I could be anywhere in the world and turn my car off. So there's a testimonial, live testimonial. And then Mikhail bigging up the Amber Heart Academy for coding with the government. I know that's one of your babies as well. And he mentions that all the graduates from Amber Heart Academy graduates into a job that's game changing. So you still do a lot of philanthropic work.
Yes. I mean, look, Amber's passion is, I mean, to me, I'm a humanitarian first and an accidental CEO later. But to me, Amber Art Academy was a very important milestone for Jamaica. Imagine now, by October, we're graduating another 300 graduates. In October, we are actually starting another batch of 500. But to bring that whole knowledge of coding and getting individuals ready for jobs in 1 year is quite game changing by itself. It's a huge investment from Amber Group again, but we're born to do good, and we keep focused on our core mission to help Jamaica.
Nesra wants to hear more about your upbringing. They say it sounds inspiring.
No. You don't want to go there. I Kalila, when I was 14, I started drinking a lot. I was an alcoholic at the age of 14 till the age of 22. I used to be a chain smoker, drug addict, very short tempered, angry young boy. I was kicked out of my house when I was 20. One night I came home fully drunk, vomited, and my father had enough of me, got me out of the house. I took a train and came to Delhi, and I started my career as a waiter in a restaurant. And then I drove trucks, and then I worked for a call center, and then I worked for Xerox, and then eventually in 1999 I joined the Art of Living Foundation and learned about myself, and the passion for humanity arose. The service attitude in life came from there, and I decided to give up my very lucrative jobs and become a volunteer for Art of Living for almost 20 years. I taught thousands and thousands of people across the world, from corporates to inner cities to prisons, and made a difference in many lives in the world. And then early 2015, Amber happened.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, we should talk some more. We were supposed to, and somehow it got sidetracked, but we should talk some more. I think the people need to know more of these types of stories because it's truly an inspiration. Shawneel wants to know, are you looking to collaborate with small businesses not in the startup phase to help build their digital products internally? Investment, if you will. I
I
can
would
tell you Shawneel runs a talent agency.
No, I would absolutely love to. We always are, as a business, we're always looking at opportunities. Where can we contribute? How else can I help? How else can be useful to the society? Whatever we can do, we're certainly very forthcoming as a business to assist anybody who wants anything from us.
Okay, well, Sean Neal, after the show, link up and we'll see how we can make it work. So let's come now, finally, to On Time Taxi, which is supposed to be the focus of this interview, but there's just so many things to talk about being your first time on the program. What led to Amber getting 50% in On Time Taxi, and what are the plans for that company?
Kalila, I've been observing the news for a long time. We know what happened to the rideshare companies and the bans and all of those things. I think, to me, I'm very passionate about Jamaica. Like I said, to me, when I looked at the PPV market in Jamaica, we've got 30, 40,000 PPV vehicles in Jamaica, some en route, some as Hackney and so on. But what is very interesting is somehow our PPV industry never could bring that convenience, although they're far more secured in a sense, they are more vetted, their license, etc., etc. But there was a lot to be done for them also in terms of improving the security for those vehicles, drivers, and passengers. At the same time, why the rideshare hailing apps across the world became successful is because of convenience. Now, to me, it was a very simple decision that how about we have a economy which is very small by its own nature, and then in this small economy there is very little room for too many players at the same time. But now if our local players do not have the level playing field with competition, then they remain disadvantaged also. That was my motivation behind how do we enable phenomenal amount of convenience, tech, security. For example, now we're putting a tracking in every single vehicle with dash cams. We have AI route dispatch management systems now, so we know which vehicle is going where and who picked up where, and we've got such high visibility on the vehicles. And more importantly, we're also putting a panic button on the back seats. So if as a
Mhm.
passenger you feel threatened at some point, you hit the panic button, and our armed security response vehicle will apprehend that the vehicle, inspect what's going on, and so on. So there's a lot of security, a lot of convenience that we want to bring to the PPV industry first, enable them for a fair fight with the global competition.
With the global competition. I'm glad you went that because Mikhail says Amber is such a catchy name for a ride hailing service, could be the new Uber and Lyft, think worldwide. Is that where you're thinking?
Of course, see, once we've built all this tech and invested into all of this tech, then naturally the next thing would be that we actually start replicating this tech in as many countries as possible. Remember, Uber and Lyft and all of these companies have done phenomenally well. They've contributed all across the world so much to create a new economy in so many countries. So, first of all, my immense gratitude, my immense thank you to all these ride sharing companies across the world to do what they've done for the micro economy to flourish in many, many countries. But yes, the more there is competition, we also know it drives more customer satisfaction, it drives more price benefit to consumers, and it drives more better consumer experience. So for that matter, would say, the ocean is big. There is room for everybody. Bring it on and improve what we need to improve for our citizens. That should be the priority of every single company.
So Jamaica is basically your beta test.
Jamaica has always been my beta test. The first Amber Connect, the first $1 million check from a company who bought 100 devices was out of Jamaica. So obviously, Jamaica is a patient country in many, many ways. We've always had consumers calling me, Dushyant, you can improve this, you can improve that. And I've always listened. As a company, we've never gone into an arrogance, we know it all and we are the almighty. That's not what success should do to one. Success should make you humble, should make you more open to listen, because it's the consumers who should drive your product, not the product driving consumers. So we
Mhm.
as a company, as a group, if we look at our customer service also, middle of the night, if I get a call, I will wake up and do what is required for that one small client of a single vehicle also. But as a company, we're just very passionate to ensure that we provide the best. Of course, you sometimes try very hard, you can't do everything, but obviously the intention is always to do more.
So Nano Sense says, Mr. CEO, we need a piece of your business. Any plans on listing on the JSE or any international stock market for that matter?
No, we will certainly list. I assure you, we will list. But we also have to wait for the right timing. Some of our businesses are not matured yet. They're gaining heavy traction. If we prematurely list it, then we will not be able to create good value for the persons who would invest. And certainly, I take full responsibility as a CEO for our investors. I don't have any at the moment, thankfully. Our group has no external investors at this point of time. But I think in the long term, yes, we will list. Yes, we will want to make people a part of our business. Every common person should be able to buy shares and help us grow globally.
Would you list in Jamaica or a global stock exchange?
We probably will do both because the global stock exchange would allow us to gain a lot more traction globally, becoming part of NASDAQ, etc. Gives you a big global push. At the same time, I want to carve out enough for our Jamaicans also to invest into this Jamaican company born only for a sole purpose to do more for the society.
Wow, love it. Thank you so much, Dushyant. I see a lot of people saying things like Garvin here. Wow, what an inspiration. Really enjoyed this conversation. And Ezra says you're motivating. They're motivating. So yeah, great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Dushyant. And I'm looking forward to Amber UTech Launchpad, which should be airing in September.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait to see it.
It's an honor to be on your show. I've listened to all your shows. By the way, thank you for the amazing work that you're doing for the business sector in Jamaica. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, Dushyant Savadia. You can't say that you haven't heard the name. I'm sure you've seen Amber all over the place, and you're about to see them uh, globally. He's looking at global domination, guys, and eventually you may get a chance to own a piece of Amber via listing on both Jamaican and international stock exchanges, which is exciting news. Right now, it is time for our poll question. And tonight's question is a pretty interesting one. We kind of want to gauge what you guys are thinking. So here's our question. Have your investing habits changed in light of the Jamaica stock market not performing as well as in previous years? A, I don't invest as much. B, no, I keep things the same. C, I'm leaning towards bonds more than stocks now. D, yes, I stopped investing altogether. or other, leave a comment. Let us know in the chat, or you can also take our poll over on the YouTube community page or on X, FKA Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. We have that poll going on. Have your investing habits changed since the Jamaican stock market is not performing as well as it used to? A, I don't invest as much as before. B, no, I keep things the same. C, I'm leaning towards bonds more than stocks. D, yes, I stopped investing altogether. Or other, leave a comment. Now, let me know, have you signed up for the Money Mission community yet? A lot of changes are coming over the next few months. Between now and the end of the year, we're going to be launching the new premium experience and a lot of other things. Right now, stock prices are falling, and they have been for the past year. Jamaica and globally, stock prices have been falling, which presents a huge buying opportunity. And you want to be in a position like Warren Buffett to have cash to buy. You don't want all your money locked up. You want to be able to take advantage of these opportunities and buy when prices are low. So that was a clip from the last Money Mentorship. The next one comes up on September 2nd, I think. It's the first Monday of every month. Yep, first Monday is going to be on the 2nd, where we just talk through personal finance. We talk through a lot of entrepreneurship, and we talk about business strategy, marketing strategy, and investing strategy as well. So join me at moneymissionja.com. Now, right about now, we're doing things a little bit different this evening because we actually have a second interview for you. And this is a somewhat interesting one. So David Henriquez, you may have heard this name. And if you're wondering, that name sounds familiar, he is the CEO of Ultra Financier, which is undergoing right now a major transformation. So Ultra Financier is a private credit company, and they're part of Dollar Financial Services Limited. They were founded just about 2 years ago in 2022. And tonight we're going to be speaking to David about their expanded services and what this means for the future of Ultra Financier. Welcome to Taking Stock, David.
Hey, Kalila. Thanks so much for having me. Great to be here.
So we know you were with Porsche before joining Ultra. Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself before you tell us about what's going on with Ultra Financier now?
So, pretty simple. I was a Campionite, left Campion. I had studied the sciences, and my focus from ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a doctor. I left Campion having done the sciences at CXC and Cape level. Went to Canada, went to university in Canada, University of Western Ontario, where I studied biology. I graduated with a biology degree. But, as you get a little older, you tend to figure out, a little more of what you want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, you definitely know what you don't want to do. And medicine is something that I realized I didn't want to do. But to then, change your major midway meant money being spent, and I couldn't fathom that. So I said, I'd tough it out, finish the degree, and come home and work. I'd find a job. I came home and I said to my parents, I'd do 2 interviews. And if I, didn't get a yes from those interviews right away, then, I'd buck up and go work in my family company, which is Kingston Industrial Agencies. I had landed at home on a Wednesday, did interviews Thursday, Friday, and I wasn't waiting around for the yes. Started work on Monday because, as a 22-year-old at that point, you're freshly home, you want to party with your friends, you want to go on excursions, you want to do everything, and you need money to do that. So I went to work Monday morning, and, my dad, my uncle looked at me and they're like, whoa, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm here to work. Give me whatever, needs to be done. And at that point, you could see that they were like, why are you here? But it was, I had always grown up with discipline. I played a lot of sports. I was very disciplined. I worked straight through university, and, I loved working, always loved working. being paid to work is the best thing in the world, whereas being a student wasn't as rewarding. So I worked with my family company, selling trucks, tractors, servicing trucks and tractors. And, I had obviously specific responsibilities in the business, but, I was always, a job needs to get done. It doesn't matter what it is. If the warehouse is dirty, it needs to be clean, then so be it. I'll get it done. And I did that for 3 years and then got an opportunity to work in insurance with Thwaites Vincent Sharp Insurance Brokers. And I took that same mentality to Thwaites Vincent Sharp, where, you're going to do everything. You want to work, you want to make your customers happy. And, over those years working, my network built. I formed a running group called We Got the Runs, and we were in charity events. We were running all over Jamaica, meeting so many people. And it just got bigger, and, my network got bigger. And then, I got the opportunity to work with ATL. And, I got the call to say, hey, would you like to come work with us? And I'm like, I'm not going to go sell cars. I'm in insurance. I've done all my insurance exams. I'm loving insurance. Most people in the world don't want to buy insurance, but the minute somebody has a claim, they're so grateful that you've taken the time to sell them a product that has worked for them. And I absolutely loved it. And I realized what I loved about sales was the service side of sales, where you get to upkeep these customers and get them a product that will suit them. And so, to move to ATL and sell cars, I was a little skeptical, but, I said, what, take a leap of faith. And I started at Porsche in December 2017. And I spent just under 5 years there, and it was absolutely satisfying.
Yeah.
So people work so hard for so many years to then afford a car that is obviously ridiculously expensive, but the
Yeah.
joy
So,
it brings
so
them is unmatched.
So let's fast forward to Ultra Financier now, because we know this company. Well, when it launched, I remember the hype was about luxury goods. So you would give a loan based on the collateral being like a Rolex watch or a diamond necklace. And now you are shifting strategy. Tell us about that.
So when we started, it was Kadeen's brainchild, and Kadeen said, there's this niche for this luxury lending in Jamaica, and we can definitely capitalize on it. And he sold me the company, and I said, yeah, I'm coming. We're gonna do it. We're gonna work it. We're gonna make it happen. And over the last year and a half, of business, we've noticed a slight shift in what we do. Obviously, we're still giving loans, but the majority of the collateral that customers have brought to us has led more into the private credit line than the luxury lending line. And we've always wanted to be a company that is our pride is our transparency. So we are now coming to the market to let them know that we're focusing on private credit. We see the ability and the space for it in the market to help entrepreneurs grow, and give them that ability to secure financing in a non-traditional way.
So you now own the company. Kadeen sold it to you, you said?
No. I am just the CEO. This is a
Oh.
wholly owned subsidiary of Dollar, but you can't tell me that I don't own the company. It's my baby, and I absolutely love it. And there's so much potential for this company to grow and help Jamaica.
Okay, so you have Dollar, which does microloans primarily.
Right.
You have Ultra Financier, which is transitioning to private credit, and then I know Kadeen has Dequity Capital as well, which
Right.
does, I'm guessing, more private
More
equity.
private equity, correct.
So
Correct.
3 branches under the same kind of umbrella, which is providing funding, both personal and business funding. I saw an article recently, I think it was in the Observer, saying that Ultra is considering branching off on its own and separating from Dollar. How would that work?
Yeah, we're looking at it as a potential, obviously to raise capital to lend. The lending space is very capital intensive, and so we're looking at it as a potential. We're still doing our due diligence to see if it will benefit us. But this company, we started out with myself alone, as the only employee of Ultra, and we've grown to a team of 3, and we've now realized that we have the space and the ability to hire more to grow our business. So we're in the process of hiring new people to grow our team, and to grow the business, because we see where the business can grow exponentially. So we're looking at the potential of just exponential growth.
So thanks, Lanestra has given me the clarification. He said the idea was sold to you. Thanks for that clarification, Lanestra. You have better ears than me. I was like, wow, when did Kadeem sell Ultra? I didn't.
No.
All right, yeah, all right. So let's get back to this idea of private credit, and that simply is lending money to businesses, right?
Correct. Businesses and individuals. I mean, obviously, once you have the collateral to back the loan, I mean, 100% of our loans are secured. So once you have the collateral to back the loan, and obviously you can show proof of repayment, we're willing to work with you to get you the funding you need to grow your business, secure that real estate, grow your projects, install your projects, clear a container from the wharf, just to keep business flowing and growing.
Do you have any conditions at the moment?
I mean, our conditions are simply, the information on the collateral. We need to ensure that, your collateral is proper and can secure the loan. You can show the affordability to repay the loan. These are our conditions. But we are in the space where we want to be innovative, we want to be flexible, and we want to lend. We want to see our customers grow.
Now, I know Dollar was founded on the basis of more accessible credit on the personal credit side. Is that the same kind of thing when it comes to Ultra? Should it be more accessible than going to a traditional bank?
Definitely. We pride ourselves on accessibility. And I mean, we're not trying to replace the banks by any means, but we have the ability to turn over and get you cash far quicker than the traditional banks can. And so we are here to basically be providing that bridge financing for our customers, because we know, time is money, and the quicker that we can get things done for you is the better you'll be you'll be in a better place to grow.
Sean wants to know, what is the interest rate like? Is it competitive?
It's competitive in the non-banking space, yes. I mean, obviously, compared to the traditional banks, our interest rates will be a little higher, but we do have the ability to be flexible. And I mean, we want our customers to be able to access this funding, so we are willing to be flexible and work with them.
Earl wants to know, why would you consider a split from Dollar, which is growing?
I mean, if we look at it and we need to raise capital, and we decide, we want to IPO, then yeah, we would have to split. But I think it's just good for the company to stand alone, and to be able to support itself. I mean, yes, we've had the benefit of using the strength of Dollar to aid and support us, but once we grow, I mean, we grow our team, we can hire more people. It's better for the economy across the board.
Well, I heard you mention the magic three letters, IPO. So
it's in discussion.
when and where?
Yeah, well, we have no when and where. It's in discussion. It's at board level, and we are discussing it seriously. We're looking at the pros, the cons, when would be the best timing for it. If the right timing is now, we're discussing it. I mean, we can't hide and say that we're not. We are discussing it. It's one of the best ways for us to raise capital to on-lend. So yes, we're talking about it, and we'll definitely keep the public updated. We're definitely trying to continue our trajectory of transparency.
Especially following the success of your parent company's
Exactly.
IPO. So finally, David, why should people consider Ultra Financier for their private credit needs?
You have to consider us. We're fast, we're convenient, we are flexible, we're innovative, we're here to work with you. So we want the public to know that Ultra is a safe space. Come, we can sit down, we can discuss all the benefits of you borrowing from Ultra. And if it doesn't suit you, we've had a conversation, we've given you options, and it can never hurt to have these positive, beneficial conversations when it comes into getting funds to grow your business and grow your personal growth, your personal wealth.
Well, thank you so much, David. Any final words before you go?
Thank you so much for having me, Kalila. But we just want the public to know Ultra Financier is here. You can find us at ultrafinancier.com. You can find us on Instagram, or you can call us 876-671-3802. We're accessible any means possible. Find us, and we want to help you grow.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the new direction from Ultra Financier.
Thank you.
Up next, we've got your market recap, and the analysts are standing by.
The JSE Combined Index lost over 2,000 points last week, or about 1%. 121 stocks traded across the main and junior markets for the week ending Friday, August 9, 2024. 36 made gains, 72 lost value, and 13 stayed the same. 75 million shares changed hands on the Jamaican dollar market, valued at $210 million. Omni was the week's most traded stock. It lost 2 cents to open the week at 92 cents. Wigton traded the second highest. The stock lost 2 cents to open Monday at $1. And One-on-One rounded out last week's most traded with 7 million shares changing hands. The stock lost 5 cents to close the week at $1.02. Now let's see who had the biggest gains for the week. AS Bryden was the market's biggest gain, up 25% to close the week at $38.98. CAC 2000 was the week's second biggest gain, up 23%. And Key Insurance was up 20% to close the week at $2.59. On the losing side now, Margaritaville Turks was the week's biggest loser. The stock lost almost 20% to open Monday at $11.95. MPC Caribbean Clean Energy was down 18%, and ISP Finance Service lost 16% to close the week at $21. Over on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, the composite index lost 8 points, or about 1% last week. Massey was the most traded stock. The stock's price remained unchanged to open Monday at $3.58 TT. Angostura Holdings was the biggest gain of the week. The stock was up 3%, starting the week at $18.05 TT. And on the losing side, JMMB was down 7% to open Monday at $1.05. Over in the US, the Dow Jones was up almost 2% last week, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq gained 3%. Over at the pumps, 87 gas fell 6 cents last week, while 90 dipped 7 cents. Diesel prices dipped $3.06. In foreign exchange, it took an average $157.82 Jamaican to purchase $1 last Friday. That's 8 cents more than the week before. Meanwhile, it took an average $116.23 Jamaican to purchase $1 Canadian. One British pound cost on average $200.72 Jamaican. And you could buy €1 for $174.82 Jamaican on average. Finally, on the crypto markets, Bitcoin prices were up 7% over the past 5 days, trading at $59,094 US on Monday. Meanwhile, Ethereum prices climbed 15%, trading at $2,686 US on Monday.
Butterfly in the sky. What? I can go twice as high.
So if this is you, download my free e-guide right now, Financial Terms Made Simple. It's a list of 40 commonly used financial terms broken down into simple language. Because don't you just hate when you look up a word and it gives you an even bigger word as a definition? So this is not that. I've made it as easy as possible so you can just whip it out and use it as a quick reference when you hear a term that you don't really understand. That way you don't miss investment opportunities because you were too embarrassed to ask what a bond is or what an IPO is. The link is in the description. Let's get this money.
Disclaimer: this is not intended as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Welcome back. It's time now for the analysts. Well, we have one analyst this evening. Jillian Jackson is back from Financial Sensibility. It's been a minute since we've had her on. Welcome back, Jillian. Great to have you.
Hi, everyone. Good night, Kalila, and welcome. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to jump right into it. Tonight we're talking about interest rates, and it seems that cuts are finally on the horizon. As a matter of fact, I see analysts in the US predicting that the Fed might cut interest rates even before they are scheduled to, even before their next
September.
planned announcement, because of the recent jobs numbers. What is going on, and what should we all be making of this here in Jamaica?
Well, Kalila, you raise a very important point that, whatever happens in America does influence what happens out here. But Jamaica's central bank policy rates, as everyone knows, those are the rates that the central bank lends to commercial bank, and it's a tool, commercial banks, and it's a tool for controlling monetary policy. So when the rates go up, borrowing becomes more expensive and it reduces consumer spending, business investment, slowing down economic growth, etc. So lowering the policy rate, it makes the borrowing cheaper, stimulates spending and investment, and it can boost economic growth and increase inflation. So Jamaica's policy rate, as you know, has remained at 7% since November 2022. So it's been almost 2 years since the rate has changed. The next monetary policy announcement in Jamaica is actually scheduled for August 20, so next week. And people are waiting with bated breath to see what's supposed to happen. Most are predicting, based on Governor Biles' recent statement, that the rates will come down 7% for 2 years. And as you know, before COVID, the rates were, when COVID hit in March 2020, the rate was at 0.5%. So not 5%, 0.5%.
0.5, a record low.
0.5, a record low for Jamaica. So now, now that it's at 7%, it's not anticipated to go back as low as 0.5%. That's very low. However,
at least not immediately.
Not immediately, or not in the near future. And Governor Biles spoke about this in his latest address to Parliament, that it's not expected to go at that low, but it is expected to come down because 7% is high. And if you think about Jamaica's target inflation, which is between 4 to 6%, that inflation is what usually drives whether or not the rate goes up and down, as you know, and our inflation has been within that range for a couple of months now. So people anticipate that because of that we should see a decline in the interest rates. And of course, that will stimulate spending, and persons will be able to borrow at a lower cost because, even though the rates have not climbed as drastically as they once were. Remember, we used to have rates, the lending rates for personal loans and for personal loans are in the rates of 15, and for mortgages we used to have rates in the 20s. Now they're in the low teens, the 10s, the 9s. If you're lucky, you can get an 8 or a 7. So we're hoping that when the policy rate drops, the lending rate will drop, and people will be able to invest more in their businesses by being able to borrow at cheaper rates. So what's happening in America? You asked that earlier. So the US, they are also anticipated, as you mentioned, to cut their rates. Their rate is at 5.5% now, and they're supposed to cut it lower. In September is when they plan to make their announcements for policy rates cuts. But as you said, things are going haywire over there. But before I go to America, I just want to mention one more thing about Jamaica, is that the impact of Hurricane Beryl, there are some thoughts out there that the impact of Hurricane Beryl will not lower the rate as drastically as some would hope, and we may not even see a lowering at all. Some surmise that we may not see a lowering at all because Hurricane Beryl has thrown a spoke in the wheel of what was intended to happen because of that inflation.
Right, and being St. Elizabeth being the hardest hit, breadbasket parish. And I've been seeing the pictures going around on WhatsApp with a tomato for $1,000.
Yes, and a sweet pepper. I was just going to say that. So yes, you see, and that, as your viewers would know, is a driver for inflation.
Right.
So the price is going up. There's these crazy prices for tomato and sweet pepper, etc. That may have an impact on Jamaica's ability to cut these interest rates. But we will see very soon, August the 20th. All of us should be tuning in to hear what the is going
But
to.
Governor Biles has also said that he's been waiting on the signal from the Fed, and the Fed is not due to make that announcement till September.
Yeah, so that you made a good point. So we're ahead of them in terms of what's due to be announced. And so if they are not announcing until September, you said they might do it early. But if they're not announcing till their scheduled date of, I think it's September the 20th, if I'm not mistaken, if they're not going to do it until then, and then we would have to wait and see if we're going to use their signal to indicate what's going to happen out here. But as you know, we were speaking about this earlier. The U.S. is going through a little bit of turmoil right now, which persons surmise they may be on a brink of a recession. And we hear that all the time, right, Kalila? We always hear, oh, the U.S. might be going into a recession. But why did it happen this time particularly? It was as a result of the jobs numbers, as you mentioned. The jobs numbers came out and it was below what was projected. I think it was 114,000 jobs and the projection was 175,000. So it was way below what was projected, and people started to panic, I guess, and stocks prices started to go down. And so it had a ripple effect on the economy there. The measure that people use, though, some persons use to indicate that the US may be going into a recession is the fact that the inflation rate, the fact that the rates went much lower than, not only that they went much lower than expected, but there are other indicators, the inflation rate, as well as the labor markets themselves have indicators that there are impending signs of a recession that could be happening in America. But the latest policy, the federal policy rate announcement, will also impact what happens. Persons are saying if they don't cut the rates, then the recession is imminent. That's what persons are saying on the streets.
Yeah, 'cause I see people saying that we are where we are, or they are where they are in the United States because the Fed took too long to act.
Right, exactly. Some persons surmise that they took too long to act. So, and they took a lot longer than we did. We were the leaders. Jamaica was a leader in terms of how soon we did our first rate reduction in 2021 November, I believe, and they waited until March 2022, or way after we did. So, as you said, they took too long to implement it, and now they're taking too long to bring it back down. So, we're waiting on them to bring ours back down. And as you know, of course, once something happens in America, as I say, if America sneezes, Jamaica catches a cold. So whatever they do, it has a ripple effect on us. If they go into a recession, you know what will happen here. Our tourism industry will be affected by that. We'll have a decrease in the remittances to Jamaica. We would have a reduced demand for exports from Jamaica. Things like that will definitely have a ripple effect throughout our economy. So it's not something that we want to look forward to at all.
Yeah, like they say, when America sneezes, Jamaica catch a cold. The whole
Right.
Caribbean, the whole America is basically. Couple of questions from the audience for you, Jillian. Sean wants to know, do you believe the Fed dropped rates because it was forced to is a good thing, especially since the effects of a rate drop takes time to permeate the economy? Are we looking at a recession?
Well, it's a good thing for the consumers, but as you know, that the balance is dropping the rates and controlling inflation. So they're trying to do their best to stimulate the economy by putting more money into the hands of people in the economy, but that comes at a cost of inflation going out of control and things becoming more expensive. So it's a delicate balancing act that the government has, all governments have, and some governments rely on other governments to guide them on what to do. I wouldn't say it's imminent. I think we've learned a lot of lessons from the past, 2008 being the most biggest, the most recent big lesson. The COVID also had a lesson or two, but 2008 was the biggest lesson in recent times. And I think governments have learned a lot, and they will do their best to use their fiscal policies and monetary tools to be able to avoid a recession if they can.
Ryan wants to know, if the Feds cut their interest, does that affect our debt to the US and our interest rate?
It has a ripple effect on us, but it does affect our debt, I believe. I won't say I'm an expert in that field, but yes, it does have a ripple effect on everything that they do in America does have an effect on our economy here.
So Lanestra is bringing up Japan. I don't know if you were following what was happening
Yes,
in Japan last week.
yes.
As she
They
says,
raised their policy rate to 0.25%. So not
they were at
25.
0%.
They were at
Actually,
zero.
they had negative interest rates at one point. You had to
Negative.
pay the bank to hold your money.
And the raising the rate to 0.25 led to chaos over there for a couple of days. I think things are getting back in a normal trajectory now. But it also came along the same time as the jobs numbers in the US. So the one came before the other, and it caused a ripple effect everywhere.
So I was doing some research as to what in the world was happening in Japan and the Asian markets, because a lot of people were messaging me asking about it. And apparently, because Japan had such low interest rates, 0%, you
Zero.
could
For
borrow
15
money.
years.
You could, what was that?
They've had a rate that low for 15 years or
For
more.
15 years. Was that long? Didn't realize it was that long. But because they've had such low interest rates, you could borrow money extremely cheaply in Japan at very, very, very low interest rates, 2-3%,
Absolutely.
probably very low interest rates. And so a lot of Westerners took advantage of that and would borrow in Japan and use that to invest in cryptocurrencies and stocks in US markets. So
Right.
you're borrowing very low interest rate and then putting it into something that's a little bit more riskier, but would give you a much higher
Higher
return. And
return,
that way you benefit from the spread, from the difference. And
arbitrage
then
opportunity.
exactly, exactly. And then also there is the situation with the exchange rate. So when when the Japanese central bank, which is also called the BOJ,
BOJ. Yes.
raised their interest rates, it affected the currency exchange. So now you would be getting less USD to one
Yen.
Japanese yen, or
Right.
less yen to one USD. And that just caused havoc. So people were trying to sell off their positions in the US in order to cover, their loans in Japan. And all of that led to markets in the US falling dramatically, lots of stocks falling in the US. And then at the same time, you had Warren Buffett selling off 50% of his Apple stock. It was just a whole lot happening at the
At
same
the
time.
same time, absolutely. Right. And a lot of other countries have recently announced changes in their policy rates as well. I think the UK announced theirs last week. They lowered the rate from 5.25 to 5. So a lot is happening in terms of policy rate movements now. I think people are, getting over the effects of COVID and trying to, and this economy is becoming more stable across different countries. So a lot of countries are looking at what they can do to adjust their rates downwards. So Japan moving theirs upwards was a shock to everybody's system.
So a couple of comments here. Philip says, ain't no recession going to happen in the US in an election year.
The chair of the Federal Reserve, Philip, he said that his adjustments to the policy rates have if they're not related, they're not political. So he will not do any
Of course
adjustments. He
he's
said
going to say that.
he's not going to do any
He's
adjustments
under
because of
immense
politics.
pressure. He's under crazy pressure right now.
Yes, he is.
He
He
has to say
is.
that. He has to say there's nothing political, but I
Yeah,
know there have been some late night phone calls. I'm sure of it.
absolutely.
Now, Learn, Grow, Invest has a great question. What does a drop in interest rates locally mean for equities?
Very good question. Learn, grow, invest. So when interest rates are low, that means persons have more opportunities to, well, first of all, when interest rates go lower, savings rates also go lower. So not only is borrowing cheaper, but when you see the interest you're paying on your savings account, step one is that interest rate is going to drop. So even though it's minusculely low now, more than likely it can go lower once interest rates go down. When that happens, people don't want to keep their money in savings accounts. People are not interested in doing that because the interest that you get on your savings accounts and even your equity, your what you call it now, unit trust, etc. Those accounts that you can put money in and it just stays there. not unit trust, fixed deposits, when you can put money in there and it just stays there and grows and you don't have to think about it. Those type of accounts don't become very attractive when policy rates go down. So what persons will typically do is that when policy rates go down, they invest more in stocks. They invest more in things that have a better reward, better return for the money that they're putting in. So that's typically the impact. Stock market prices or stocks will typically go up when interest rates go down. That's usually how it
We've been
works.
telling you guys, now is the time to take your positions in stocks because the interest rates are on the verge of coming down, which means when those come down, smart money will start moving into stocks where they can get a higher return. Stock prices will start going up. I saw a comment earlier because we asked the poll question about how has your investing strategy changed now? And I saw somebody say, oh, they're not doing anything now. They're waiting for the bull market to come back. When the bull market comes back, it's too late.
It's too late. By that time, it's too late.
It's too late. You need to
Your
buy.
stocks are at a discount
Remember,
now.
remember the objective of investing, the objective of any trade is to buy low and sell high. And right now is when it's low. You want to wait until the prices go back up to buy? And then what? You're going to sell when the prices fall because you get scared?
Yeah.
And then you lose money. It's the opposite of what you're supposed to be trying to do. So great discussion, Jillian. Do you have anything else that you want to mention before we go?
No, well, just keep smart with your money, follow what's going on, listen out for those interest rate announcements, and act accordingly.
All right. One last question. Life Roots. Life Roots wants to know, do you think the Fed is going to cut interest rates or print more money?
No comment. I have no idea.
They printed more money during COVID. Look where that got them. Anyway, thanks again, Jillian.
You're
Great talking
welcome.
to you.
Good
Love this
speaking with you.
discussion.
Thanks, everyone, and good night.
Let's take our final break and come back with your comments. I'm Kalila Reynolds, the Money General, and I'm on a mission to help you get better with money. Join me inside the Money Mission community where I'll teach you how to manage money, make more money, and annihilate bad debt. Click the link in the description to sign up for your basic or premium membership. Let's get this money. But to moneymissionja.com, a lot of new things coming there in the community between now and the end of the year. Let's take these final comments. What are you guys saying? A lot of people loving the interview with Dushyant earlier. Michael says Mikhail, that's good social responsibility right there from Amber. Jovan says, oh, wow, such a 180-degree turn. Awesome story. I mean, for real, you would see somebody like Dushyant. Whenever you see some foreigner come to Jamaica and be successful, the assumption is always that they were successful before and that they had it coming from before, that you came to this country with bags and bags of money. And when you hear Dushyant's story and see the success that he has made just homegrown from Jamaica, when you see somebody like Dennis O'Brien come from Ireland to build Digicel into a global conglomerate from Jamaica, it really puts things into perspective as to the opportunities that many of us are missing, thinking that because we're from a small island, that we can't make it globally, that we can't build a global success story, a global conglomerate from here because we're a small island, when the world is our oyster today. Who Am I says, I just love how this man is breaking Jamaica bubble. What an inspirational man, leader. Love him. Garvin said, Rockstone, Kalila, 2 interviews in one night. If you count Jillian, it's 3. Yeah, go on with things. I love to see it. Feels like I'm watching Bloomberg News, the JA version. Thank you. Thank you, Garvin. Sean says, Warren Buffett selling his stocks in Apple was because Google violated antitrust laws by spending billions of dollars to create an illegal monopoly, and Apple was a part of it. There's also the theory. Has he said that? I don't know. I haven't heard his specific reason. Is that just a theory as to why people think he sold his stock in Apple, or did he actually say that? Because I've heard other theories as well that, well, because the US may be heading into a recession, stock prices are falling, and Buffett wants to be in a heavy cash position in order to buy up all these companies that are basically going to go on sale when the recession hits and stock prices fall, which I think is a plausible theory as well. So I don't know, did he actually say that that was his reason for selling Apple? Lanestra says, I will be ready to sell to people when the bull market is back. That's exactly what I was saying. Oh, here's a comment earlier. It was from Sean, same Sean. Sean said, yep, no longer investing in the market. The JSE index is below its 2018 value. I ain't investing till the bull come back. Sean, I hope you're taking notes. And Ezra says, I will be ready to sell to people when the bull market is back. So the opposite perspective. Ingrid says, always a great discussion on Tuesdays. Love it. Thank you so much, Ingrid. Appreciate that. Let me see if we have any more. Jovan says, boy, Warren never stops. Sean saying it's a theory. Yeah, that's what I suspected. Mikhail says, buy when others are fearful. That's Buffett right there. That's a signature Buffett. Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. So buy when others are fearful. Sean says, like Michael Lee Chin said, if you want to make money, fix problems and sell the solutions. And then we have Mikhail again saying Jamaica build worldwide companies. It is proven. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And saying great info always. So thank you guys for another amazing show. It was my pleasure being with you here this Tuesday. Thank you to Dushyant for passing through earlier in the program. Great interview as always. Look forward for huge things coming from the Amber group of companies. Multi-million dollar, I don't even know how much their valuation is by now. I know it must be up there close to the billions probably. It's a pretty big number, whatever it is, but multi-million dollar conglomerate started right here in Jamaica. Thanks to David Henriquez from Ultra Financier for passing through. Thanks to Jillian Jackson from Financial Sensibility as well. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to download the Money Dictionary at themoneydictionary.com. Get your free copy of the brand new Money Dictionary to help you out with those finance terms. When the finance bros are dropping their words and talk about APO and IPO and you don't know what they're talking about, learn what it is in the Money Dictionary at themoneydictionary.com. Remember as well to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with a friend. Let them know what is happening in the financial space. A lot is going on, and we're going to keep track of it here every week as per usual. Announcement time. If you follow me on LinkedIn and if you are subscribed to the email as well, you would have seen that we are no longer doing the bottom line. Womp, womp, womp. We are retiring, maybe temporarily, that show The Bottom Line, which is our daily news feature, where we tell you, what's going on in local and international business news. And the reason is that we're not making any money from it. We got to be real. And right now we have to focus on making or increasing revenue for the company and becoming profitable again, because last year was rough in this industry. Many, if not all, of the major financial companies that we typically work with cut their marketing budgets. And so in addition to SSL, a loss in investor confidence, people not investing, barely any IPOs, all the ways that we typically make money were all impacted at the same time. And so we can no longer afford to produce the bottom line daily as we did. I will still be reporting to you like when I have time. It's not going to be every day like it has been for the past year or so since we started doing the bottom line. But it's going to be, I guess, on an as-needed basis. When something really important breaks and you need me to explain it, I'll pick up my phone and I'll make a quick video. And of course, we will always have taking stock. Taking stock's not going anywhere. So we are still we're still going to continue doing taking stock, which I want to, by, I'd say, early next year, Return to doing in-person interviews for Taking Stock. Remember, originally, we used to do in-person and we used to pre-record as well. Now we do live and we do virtual. I want to do live in person, which is going to take some additional resources. It's going to require some additional equipment. It's going to require some additional personnel as well. I want to get to that point by early next year. I'm hoping that that can happen. But in the meantime, we're not going to be doing the bottom line because it is very resource intensive. It takes a lot of time to research all of those stories, to come up with our scripts, to edit, to review, to produce, and we just can't afford to spend all that time producing a program that does not bring in any revenue at all for the business. And so what we're doing instead is leaning further into Money Mission. Like I told you, we are working on launching the all-new premium experience by the end of the year. And we're going to have some new courses coming. We're going to update everything in Money Mission. All the courses will be updated, starting with Build Your Budget, and then Debt Do-Over, and then Investing for Beginners, and then Money Marketing. And then we're going to be launching a brand new course called Small Business Systems, because we don't have anything in there for entrepreneurs yet. And, I always talk about the 3 keys to wealth: investing, real estate, entrepreneurship. We have a course on investing. We have a course on real estate. We don't have anything for entrepreneurship. So Small Business Systems is going to be launching before the end of the year. We have a new module for money marketing that's going to be coming out. That one is all about email conversions. And we have a new module in investing for beginners that's going to be coming out as well. So a lot happening there, improved experience. We've just appointed a community manager who is going to be responsible for driving engagement and making sure that things are consistent in Money Mission, because the downfall so far has been that basically that's been my baby. I've been working on it alone while the team works on Taking Stock, the bottom line, and all the other things. And I kind of ended up burning out, to be honest, trying to do Money Mission, and tried to save it with Money Mentorship, which has been going pretty well the first Monday of every month. But I want Money Mission to be more than just that monthly mentorship. There is so much that I want it to be, and I see huge potential in it, in us all coming together as a community, having these conversations that we have here on YouTube in the chat, having them over on Money Mission in that community space throughout the week, not just on a Tuesday. So guys, go to moneymissionja.com, join the membership. The prices are gonna go up after all these improvements. So get the price now while you can, because I guarantee it's gonna be way too much value for the current price. So the prices are gonna go up later this year. So join while you can at moneymissionja.com. I have a lot that I want to do there, working on a workbook as well to come out as well before the end of the year. So I'm going around the clock right now, guys. I'm full of excitement and full of ideas. When I get in this phase, that's when things happen, all the energy. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat before I go. Let me see what we have here. Thank you, Learn, Grow, Invest, who says, keep up the good work. Michael says, I'm from the USA. I will start investing in the Jamaican stock market. Are you Jamaican, Michael? Do you live in, like, you're from Jamaica, but you live in the USA, or just American and you're interested in the Jamaican stock market? I'd love to hear a little bit more. Jovan says, Dushyant set a big stage. He sure did. Mikhail says, make sure that I link him after the show so we can get startup episodes. Startup, what do you mean? Oh, you mean for the show that they are producing? Yeah, for sure. I want to see. I would love to be a part of that. Roswell says, nice show. Prince Jamute says, love watching your shows. Quite informative as always. Thank you, Prince. Jovan says, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. We will be here. Keep pushing forward. Thank you, Jovan. I do eventually want to get back to doing the bottom line. I don't think I will end up doing it daily again, unless it is sponsored or unless we're making money from it somehow. But I do see a place for it in everything that we do. Raquel says, yes, in studio. Learn, Grow, Invest says the same in-person interviews would be cool. Mikhail says that's the way to go. And Ezra says, ever think of YouTube super chat for the community? I thought about it. I haven't really investigated it, but thanks for reminding me that that is an option. So I can look into it and see, if we qualify and how that works. I just never took the time to really look into how that works. It's not easy to produce content as consistently as you do it. That is a fact. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and a full-time team to do it all. Alayla says, more entrepreneur interviews with Jamaican companies. That's what we're here for. We do a lot of those. Raquel reminding people to like the video Money Makers. And Michael confirming that he is an American. Thanks, Michael. Love to see the interest coming from abroad. Neville says, I'm a Jamaican living in the US. Watch your show as much as I can. Cool, Neville. Make sure that you share it with your friends in the US as well. And I see a couple messages here from Instagram. Shauna says, this was my first time. Love it. I will be back. Thank you, Shauna. And Lukey says, you've been a blessing informing the nation on investing. Thank you very much, Lukey. Well, that is our show for this week. Reminding you again to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with a friend, because we're trying to make investing the new sexy. So let's make it cool to talk about money. I'm Kalila Reynolds. See you next week.
Let's get this money.